Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn. I'm Shawn. This is the 375th episode, whatever you want to call it. And since I mostly always forget and didn't only start until about a year ago, I'm going to do it now. Like and subscribe. It'll be well worth it because wait till you see what I have coming up. If you have not really taken in many of my shows, first let me just give you a little bit of information in general. We are this podcast, videocast, is associated with Gem Shopping Network. You see that number and that, I'm looking again, and the name, gemshopping.com, on your screen. We are a 27-year on-air live television sales network specializing in nothing but the good stuff when it comes to jewelry. We have a corporate policy of no lab-grown, no synthetics, only no 10 karat unless it's a state. Those type of guidelines is what makes us who we are and why we have been here 27 years. So let me tell you, also, we're fully staffed. If you, in the middle of the night, have a hankering to order a mineral specimen or buy a gorgeous ring, the very alert sales reps will be more than happy to help you with that. Call that number. So it works for this show. It works for the main live shows. It also works for my past. Usually we hold the inventory for 2 to 3 weeks. So you can watch a show from last week, and if it hasn't, something you see you like and hasn't sold, you can order it. It can be yours. And also, let's see. We do a trivia game every show, always a winner, or sometimes we do it, what am I? Actually, today, everybody enjoys the what am I. I have put together mineral specimens, so everyone look forward to the what am I. That's why I set out some specimens for everyone then to comment back in the comment section. And how do you do that? It is so simple. Shawn@gems.com. Now, it's morphed over the years, gotten shorter and shorter. You see Shawn at gemshopping.com. No, Shawn@gems.com. I think that's one of the most easiest to remember. But remember, it's Shawn, S-H-A-W-N. That'll get you right to me. So for your comments and for your answers on trivia, if you want to play, you don't have to play trivia. You can comment about anything you want. You can ask questions. You can challenge me like Miss Karen did as well with her bucket of what I aptly named chickenite, which turned out, of course, and I'm still working on processing my mud-caked, what will eventually be brookite and smoky quartz crystal. So I'm excited about those. I do not want to do the reveal until I have them all prepped, which takes time. Okay, so that is just a brief synopsis. Remember also, and it is an issue I very seldom have, and that's returns. But having said that, you get the same return privileges from buying from this show as the main Gem Shopping Network shows. By the way, Gem Shopping is on also all your social media devices, Roku. It's also on your cable network, whether it's Comcast, Direct, all those, you can find us. So you get the return privileges. So if you have something, I don't know what it is, a week, 10 days, something like that, whatever it is, it comes with when you purchase it. Those part of the rules. Never been a big issue with my show. I think I have like 0.5% return over the years. It's really, really low. I sell something that when all of my friends and clients receive the item, it is more than they hope for. It is better than they hope for. And that's what I like to deliver. But if for any reason, and it does not matter what reason, as long as it's undamaged, send it back and you'll get fully credited. So, okay, that said, I have a lot to do. Let's get going. There's a lot of other things I can say if you've never really watched the show, but just watch it and you'll figure it out how it is. Okay, mic pack, should I put it on the desk? Okay, I'm gonna put my mic pack on the desk because when I get too excited like this, it can, as you guys hear, make that scratchy noise. What is that? Become radioactive. Exactly. Oh, did you hear that noise in the background? What was it? Was it a wonderful little chickadee or was it the raven? I'd say it is more like the raven. Yes, she's here. She is with me. She is on the set. She is with me. One of these days, I'm going to get her to come before you, but I have fully, yeah, put something in there for something to show you that are here. Let's see. No, keep going, keep going. There it is, there it is. And it was, I believe, Miss Barbara actually today said that she had not seen the raven's decorated hands in a while. And oddly enough, look at that, the magic of the show. So, yeah, exactly, she can. And she just did her nails. So fingers are looking good. And she's looking good. Since you guys have kind of heard much from her, she has, can I tell your age? No. Okay, she has turned a big birthday. Yeah, yeah, she has turned a one of the big numbers. 75? Oh. Sweet 16. There you go. There you go. There you go. So I am thrilled to have her now with me during my shows. And that should allow us, you know how I always have to stop and pack something up or be careful it's not broken and take time? No, I'm just going to be pushing everything to her. She's going to be rapping as we go. I'm going to be doing some showing going. Let's get going. Here is starting off the comments with, speaking of chicken eye, we're going to, for the first comment now. I have to admit that you kind of slid this one right in at the end that Miss Karen. So, here we go. I didn't do that. Oh, my elbow was on this. Oh, my phone. You're right. Okay, I'm going to move this around the corner. I'm going to get it away from the magnet. My super ultra powerful neodymium magnet. All right, here we go. So I didn't have time to print it out. So this one that slid in at the end is from Miss Karen on my phone. Oh, hello to, jeez. What am I? Chopped liver? This wasn't sent to me. This is for Awesome. Oh, hello to Awesome. Okay then, Awesome. From Miss Karen, the chicken eye lady. I was able to snag, yeah. Asif says a personal hello back. And you know what? I might have to share a piece of that chicken eye with him. Of course, he was the one that was here with Corduroy. When Corduroy, that was a great episode. I was able to snag the giant garnet mica schist specimen. That was a big garnet. It will be my first garnet, so I'm excited to add to my collection and the memory of your birth date stone and Corduroy's big brother. I missed out on both the Russian androdite and quartz and that stunning Arizona quartz malachite green dream piece. Congrats to whomever got those. Got around Miss Karen. Yeah, if you're talking about the 79 mine piece from Arizona, that was beautiful. Oh, and that other malachite, I know the one you're talking about. So you never know. You're going to be excited, all of you, with what I'm going to be showing you today. I decided that I would share something else with y'all. Okay, then we have another comment sliding here at the end this morning that I did print off from Miss Karen. She goes, hello, Shawn, Chuck, Lateef, Raven, and all rock lovers. Sorry if I missed anyone. Short on time, so here I am once again trying my best to beat the clock, answering the trivia questions. So the trivia questions were this. What type of, no, that's from the another week. So name, here we go. Okay. Name 2 mines and location that were mentioned that are world famous for mineral and gem specimens. Now, remember, I always tell you to listen to my semantics, the words, very carefully, because trick questions could be in there. So name 2 mines and location that were mentioned that are world famous for mineral and gem specimens. So the key being that were mentioned. Now, I wrote down the answers as Graves Mountain in Georgia and the Jeffrey Mine in Quebec, both very prolific in a number of different gem and minerals. But there were almost many of you, maybe all except one, that actually included another one, the 79 Mine. And I had to, upon review, or else Brad would do it for me. Wait till you hear Brad's comment. Upon review, am accepting the 79 mine. Here's just a little. I'll give you a breakdown in a bit of the mine and production in regards to how prolific those mines were for minerals. The second question was name 3 varieties of green garnet. That would be savarite, which belongs to the grossular family. The other is uvarovite, which is in its own family name, and I do have a uvarovite to show today. But remember, it's this one over here that has the Outokumpu type locality from Finland, the uvarovite crystal that can be measured, not a druzy uvarovite like you get on the chromite from Siberia. So, answer being savarite, uvarovite, and the third, demantoid. Got a surprise for you in the demantoid category today. Number 3 was in the brittle mica family, which I don't think many of you knew anything about until I introduced it to you last week. In the brittle mica family, name 2 members of it that were mentioned. And so if you remember, around that amazing ruby nodule, there was the margarite, and then which is has a pearlescent look to it, as we showed you last week. And then the other one I have sold several of is the clintonite, which is that blue unique mica, and it almost looks like a calcite before you would think it was mica. But due to a chemical structure difference, instead of mica being flexible, because remember, I took that big sheet of mica, peeled a sheet off, and you could actually flex the mica. Well, if it was a brittle mica, the mica plate would break. And that's the difference. That's a big difference. And why it is in their own family group of brittle micas. Okay, those are the questions. So here is Miss Karen's answer. She said Jeffrey Mine in Quebec and Grays Mountain in Georgia for the first one. Very good. Second one, almandine and demantoid. So she got the demantoid right. Miss Karen on green garnet. So just give it a little work. The savarite, you'll remember that one. That's tough. That's kind of easy to remember. That beautiful green garnet, only discovered in 1967. And then the uvarovite, which is the 6th garnet family member. And it's a chromium garnet. So that will help you to remember green, because chromium has a lot to do with green and different other minerals like emerald, beryl. Cheers, Karen, the chicken night lady. Okay, now, next we have, oh yeah, I'm seeing your answer here, Karen, on the kunzite, and that's going to come into play. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment. Okay, so here we go. Miss Gabby joins first in the comments. Hello, GSN family. OMG, so hard to narrow down the list of items from this week that I like. So many goodies. Decided on the Yermayevite. And Barbara has a good take on the pronunciation of that. So that, of course, was the primo piece of the show. And yeah. So so I'll go on, and it tells the rest. Have to jump fast these days. Last week, missed the couple I wanted, so I was glad to hear you may be bringing more Persian demantoid specimens back in. But I know pieces find their rightful homes. Speaking of Yermayevite, and it's almost not exactly a Y, because I heard how they Dutch pronounce it, and Russian. This is a Russian named after a Russian, and it's kind of like just a little bit of the sound like a shot, like a no. Anyway, Yermayevite would work just fine. Speaking of Yermayevite, just last week I purchased a ring from GSN with a 6.58 carat colorless, yes, clean Yermayevite, and I already have a small specimen in matrix. It is only an inch tall only, and an inch wide at the base, and has a beautiful graduated in color, but all blue, 1/2-inch crystal. The key is all blue. As you know, if it's blue or any color in the Yermayevite, the price really accelerates. There is a lot more clear, colorless, and also there tend to be better clarity, but Yavite has a problem with clarity. Very rare to get a clean stone. A 6.58 carat clean, even though it's colorless, is extremely rare and a beautiful, beautiful gem. And a true collector piece. If it was blue, you would just be adding multiples to the price. And if it's even available. So great choice on that piece. So in regards to the crystal, so it has a beautiful graduated in color, but all blue 1/2-inch crystal. So excited to add this longer crystal to the grouping. After your presentation, I realized that what I have is even more rare than I thought. Absolutely. You have, and especially now getting that long prismatic crystal with that perfect termination and the graduation of color, which is kind of classic, and the more usual way you find crystals from Namibia in that material is the graduated colors. But I did a estimation of if I could cut a stone from that crystal. And I did figure I could save almost half the crystal still if I cut it, keeping the white prismatic end. And if I cut it graduated, since the crystal did graduate, I could cut a fairly clean, almost pretty much almost all blue, elongated crystal from it. Now, it would have, if I was successful, it would have definitely been more valuable than the crystal as a whole. But the successful part is the trick, and cutting it in lengthwise with it is also a problem with the way that the crystal forms and its cleavage plane. So I chose, of course, always, I love the crystals more than the cut facet stone. So with Miss Gabby now, she has both, which is always very, very cool. I love the before and after thoughts. So you are right. What you do have is very rare and a great choice. On the trivia, first two mines that pop in my head are the Jeffrey mine in Canada and the 79 mine in Arizona. All right, forget our Georgia Graves Mountain then. Andradite, grossular, and uvarovite varieties can have green garnets. Margarite is a brittle mica, and when you talked about its association with pearls, in regards to the pearlescence look of it, the first thing I thought was the Pinctada margaritifera oyster. Makes more sense now. When you mentioned the other brittle mica, clintonite, I thought I bought a mineral of that some time ago from Shawn, and then it completely left me. Then she writes, some Fred Flintstone language. So no credit there. LOL. Sorry, Miss Gabby.
Bedrock Tom.
That's right, bedrock Tom. That's right, she hit bedrock with her language. It's not the gutter she hit, she went to bedrock. Good one there. Stay well and safe all this crazy weather. Oh, too hot too soon. Okay, now in regards to accepting 79 mine as far as a prolific producer, it was, definitely a huge producer of ores, of metal ores, all kinds. But in general, a lot of different deposits are measured by how many different type of minerals are found there. So let me give you just an interesting rundown. The 79 mine had 86 valid minerals found at that mine. That's a lot, especially when you compare it to Graves Mountain. I thought Graves Mountain, there were a lot more, but 38 valid minerals have been discovered there. The Jeffrey mine in Quebec, 113 different minerals in that deposit. But the one that tops it all, and why you have seen me specialize in some of them and is now extinct or closed, is the Tsumeb mine in Namibia. Mind-blowing. 348 confirmed minerals found in that deposit. And this next number is what really boggles my mind. 41 type localities, meaning 41 new, never discovered before minerals were found in that mine prior to being found anywhere else in the world. That is over 10% of the total number of minerals found were minerals never discovered elsewhere. That's remarkable. So go Sumed Mine. Miss Cindy says, hello, Rock family. Wonderful show again. Love the new minerals. The brittle Michael info was great. Learn from you every week. The camera zoom ins are magnificent. I know. I love the new lens. Trivia, 79 mine in Arizona. See, I had to go with 79 mine. I should have worded it a little bit different. But you guys, you got it right. The 79 mine is a fantastic, prolific mine in Arizona and Jeffrey Mine in Quebec. Shout out to our friends and allies in Canada. Much love. Amen to that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see what jade. I already know. I talked to my jade people. Well, I won't even go into it. I'll get upset. Uvarovite, demantoid, and savarite for the green garnets, and on the brittle micas, margarite, and clintonite. Very good. Everybody be safe and be strong as we are challenged by this life we live. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. And I'll give you another amen to that. We have Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts. Hello, all. Thank you for the parcel of assorted emeralds. Lots of potential there. Yeah, that's the one that the team was giving me the hard time with the carved emerald leaves in it. I don't know. I didn't even know they were there. What was I thinking? Yeah, there's a lot of potential to have some fun in those. So things go to the places that they should go to. And Anthony, being a silver and goldsmith, he is a perfect candidate to end up with those emerald leaves because I was going to do a project with them. And now he can. I passed the torch. I saw the picture of you, Anthony. You're younger than I. You've got a long way to go before you can say that you just have more projects than you have time to complete. A show of rarities. Wow. The two that I scored are rarer than some, but not as rare as others. So let's see what he got. The Russian androdite. See, I always like to know what everybody gets. These pieces have been special to me for so many different years and whatnot. And I've cared for them and I've loved them. So I would like to know where things end up. Now, there's some of you, and that's fine, that I don't know. And here's the other thing. Inventory doesn't share with me. If there's a problem or issue or something specific, yes, we discuss it. But other than that, it's not information that's shared with me as far as if I don't find out from you, then the mystery of where something goes is gone. The thing I thought about the other day, and Raven, you didn't see it come back, was that Sugalite dragon carving. You haven't seen that come back. No. So somebody bought that amazing Sugalite dragon, and no one has said who did. So if you want to tell me who got that, that was a special piece. That would be cool. If not, that's fine. Also, I just appreciate you supporting the show and having gotten that amazing piece. Okay, so Mr. Anthony got the Russian androdite and quartz with the Hedenbergite specimen and the demantoid crystal from Namibia. You got the beautiful little, well, it wasn't so little in the world of garnets, that incredible cluster of very clean demantoids from the Tebusses farm, the Green Dragon mine, to be specific. Tebusses farm 22 is a kind of a large complex, kind of a large, not necessarily a farm, formation. And on it are several different deposits. The Green Dragon mine happens to be one of them. So you could say Tebusses farm 22, that would be correct. But to be more accurate, you say Green Dragon mine, and then you can even include Tebusses farm 22, so you know that it's associated with that, because a lot of people are more familiar with that than the specific mine of the Green Dragon mine. Green Dragon mine, great name. And did you see that tie-in? No, maybe not intentional, but I'm using it. Segue in from the dragon of the Sugalite, with a hard G, always remember, to the Green Dragon mine of the demantoids. So well done on getting that one. And then the Russian androdite and quartz. Boy, so Mr. Anthony has started collecting garnets as I have. He has found them really interesting as well, and fun and affordable to collect. He's getting in on some really, really rare ones at amazing prices where I've been offering them. And it's neat to see that the androdite with the Hedenbergite can be found together not only in Russia, but remember, Miss Penny bought a specimen that, I knew, I kind of held it out until I was ready to sell it, from Greece, because of course she likes to collect, being from Greece, Greek mineral specimens, which are not that common. And so to get a garnet one, she didn't even know that that part of Greece had any kind of mineralization. So it was neat for her to wind up with that specimen. And then good job on Anthony being able to get the Russian androdite. Thanks for taking the time with Latif to focus and examine the Russian androdite specimen. You're very welcome. And that's what I love, that camera lens. And love that we're able to do that for you here in this particular environment and show. I'm very fortunate. Even though I probably should move faster than I do, but you get a lot of knowledge from it, and that's important. Trivia. Okay, so Mr. Anthony, usually, super smart on everything. He says number 1 and 3, he's not sure. I'm blanking. I didn't even have any other stuff in my notes, and I just totally did not hear. Sorry. Wow. Dunce hat for you, off to the corner, just completely ignored everything I had to say. That's funny. It reminds me of this one over here sometimes. Somebody, are you listening to me? So anyway, you got the demantoid, Grosser, and Sauerite, right? Well, now you know what the other ones were, and I'm sure you would have known the answers to them. But boy, that is an honest answer. At least it wasn't the dog chewed up his homework or something of that sort. Oh, here we go. Mr. Brad in Pittsburgh. Troublemaking Brad. Let's see what the Bradster has to say. Okay. To Shawn, the Raven, Asif, Latif, Chuck, the Christie Keeper, Gem Shopping Staff, Corduroy, Miss Karen, and the whole Rock family. Let me see. You get everybody. I think you pretty much got that. Shawn, good job on slipping in a couple of prime numbers for cost in the last couple shows. Practice and you'll get the hang of it with time. Keep up the good work. I had to ask Asif help him, get in and help me a little bit on that, especially when they get a little bit bigger. So, but yeah, I like that idea. As long as it comes out less for everybody. Trivia answers in no particular order using Miss Karen's shotgun approach. So I'm opting out. Yes, he has to opt out because he learned last week from Miss Karen's approach at answering the question with what I call the shotgun approach, meaning if you throw enough answers out there, one of them's bound to be right. Ready? Here we are. Okay. The first answer, he goes, Margarite and Clintonite. Spelling? Is Clintonite found in Arkansas? Wow, okay. We've got a little politics going on in there. Okay.
It's a little rock.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I'm telling you, man.
Asif, you lost your calling. Asif just said, it's a little rock for Arkansas. Man, I'm not that sharp right now. Speaking of sharp, I should get it. Asif, will you come here and get on camera? You got to see this guy.
I'm like a camera guy.
You can sit right in my chair for a moment. You got to see the way he's wrapped. Come here. Now, if you don't know Asif is the director of production. I'm sure you have heard his name many times, but this is one time that I can actually present him. He's presentable. So he's getting ready to actually do a show with Mike starting at 2 o'clock. But let me show you how amazing this guy. No, thank you, sir. This is Asif, director of production of all of Gem Shopping and one of the longest term employees that we have. Yep, there we go. The team. Here she is. Here is the Raven. Here is, yep.
Now you sit.
Here is the Raven.
There's the queen.
And
Wow.
the one that really runs the show.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Hey,
okay.
okay.
So for so many of you that you have heard her name and not seen who she is, this is
Me.
my everything, the Raven. And I tell you what, I am thrilled to have her back on my show to be able to help keep me organized. And we're going to get to show more items this way. And I just love her to death. I love her to death. And, she got me through COVID. She got me through COVID. I got her through Legionnaire's disease. We are a team, and we're going to stay that way. She and I have worked together for, I've been here 17 years. She joined me about 15 years ago. She is the most beloved, one of the most beloved people here in all of gem shopping. Far,
Deserve the Purple Heart for that.
she does. Far more beloved than I have ever could imagine being.
Definitely.
So, yeah, Asif will tell you. Asif has never butted heads with this person ever. But he and I, yeah, you know, that happens. But no one butts heads with Raymond. Everyone gets along with this girl. And that is something so positive to be said. So, love you, darling. All
Button.
right, love you,
Aw,
darling.
love you too.
Thank you. That's the beginning of getting her to finally share her knowledge that she has. She knows more about semi-precious than, well, and I, of course, test her all the time. And she owns so many pieces, fine pieces of jewelry, that it's mind-boggling. And maybe she lets me share once in a while. Of course, this one's mine. But yeah, we'll be showing her things along the way, and you'll get to see it. And you know what is so funny also is she actually, I told you about, maybe I haven't, had inherited from her grandfather. She has one of the most valuable star sapphires that has ever come through the door of gem shopping. I remade the ring for her before I'd ever met her. This was a long distance thing. She sent the gold. I actually was able to take the same gold, alloy it into the color metal she wants. She has their hexagonal shaped diamonds on either side of a 14 karat color change, pink to lavender, star sapphire that has no zoning. I am telling you, which is extremely rare in a star sapphire. No zoning, not a single imperfection, not a surface inclusion, not a single presence of any other impurity. It is a remarkable gem. And her grandfather was wise enough to spend the money at the time to get something like that. And she also has I believe it to be a no-heat Burma sapphire. In the family, there's also a genuine, because it was from the 1940s, prior to even radiation of diamonds, a green diamond, 2 karat genuine green diamond. And there was another important piece you had told me about. But point being is, all that family money and her trust fund that she blew, all you have to do is start a brewery. Yep. Beer money. Every bit of it came from beer money. That's her family's legacy in Columbus, Ohio. She and her family are original, pretty much primary business founders of Columbus, having started a major brewery and owning the 7-Up bottling franchise. That never makes anybody any money. So, all that said, she just became a deadhead. Yep.
And then she met you and started whipping moonshine.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So she got her, when she turned old enough, she got her trust fund, started following Jerry Garcia around the country, putting together little beaded necklaces. That was after she blew her money, to get to the next dead show. And that's her love and jewelry. And it grew from there. And I've been keeping her on the straight and narrow ever since. She's going to throw a rock at me next. Do you think she can find one? Okay, so Mr. Brad goes on to say, I don't know how we just got her on air, but I am really tickled. It was awesome. Austin's the only one with the power to have done what just happened, let me tell you. And yeah.
She did have a chance to think.
Yeah. I'm sitting here almost speechless, Austin, that you pulled her into the show like that. That is amazing. She gets so nervous.
Well,
Yeah. Hey, she's been behind the live studio cameras here for 15 years and just still, but anyway, the girl knows her job and she knows how to avoid confrontation. Probably something I could do a little bit. And she's beloved. Chuck is in the house now. we were just talking about corduroy, so you missed some corduroy conversations there. Okay, so he goes on to say that about the Jeffrey Mine in Ontario and Graves Mountain, Georgia are fairly renowned in North America. Also, the 79 Mine in Arizona. Pick the ones you want. Okay, well, at least he named the 3, so 2 out of 3 will work. On question number 3, green demantoid, green savarite, green uvarovite, mint grossularite. Pick the one you want. Shotgun approach. I managed to snag one of the Persian demantoids, so I ran with it. Wow. That's clever. That's something awesome to say. So I ran with it. You know, Persian, Iran. So I ran with it. That was great. That was great. Do I hear raucous laughter in the background, he asks? You did. P.S. Don't forget to show the uvarovite again. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. You guys are reading mine. What do you need me for? Huh? Just, take over. So I have a couple more ideas for future shows. Just some thoughts. Latif now is in the house. So we have everybody. We have Raven, we have Asif, we have Latif, we have Chuck. Let's hear those ideas. Oh, this ought to be good because production loves to be told what to do. Idea number 1, inject crowd applause. Cue in Asif and Latif and Chuck and maybe corduroy, if available, at various times, or better yet, clapping noises. Not a bad idea. There we go. They do that upstairs. Idea number 2, I think you need some dramatic sound effects to accentuate your show. Does that include when I drop and break a rock? Do we have that sound? Yeah. Maybe when you start the show, you could do a drum roll on a set of bongos. It would be completely in character. Completely in character. I think that's a dig at my hippie aura. My aura. Stop laughing over there, Latif. It would be completely in character and harking back to my childhood. My 4 siblings, I had 5, and I would pretend to play along with music by banging on pots and pans with spoons. Well, my brothers banged on my head with pots and pans, and that's how they got their sound. So here's my idea. You could get a nice cast iron frying pan that has a nice ring to it. Find a piece of wood and take a jackknife and whittle up a handmade spoon. It is not legally called handmade unless you make it completely from scratch, which, by the way, Chuck showed me. He has a piece of labradorite. He's going to start carving on it. We're going to follow his progress on that labradorite. Mountain folks, and I assume he's referring to us as mountain folks, which we are. Mountain folks have the genetics for whittling, and I feel confident your spoon would be a sturdy one for multi-purposes. You could use it on the pan like a gong after every joke. It's funny. I did whittle, and I do whittle, and I love whittling. And I have my little, I whittled caricatures, and I made a caricature of myself in a vest. Remember my vest that I wear when I go goldsmith? My glasses, everything. Pretty clever. That was even before I started carving wax for gold. Okay, so, very nice on your ideas there. Comments on the last show forwarded from the Georgia Farmers Peanut Gallery for broader audience feedback. Shawn should surprise Raven for her next birthday gift by digging up and seeding her backyard mineral deposit with unusual garnets. Oh, we should do that for little corduroy. The Australian Aborigines believe that wherever rainbows touch the ground, that's where opal was formed. That's true. Pink opal, pink flamingos, pink in the corners of your shower, all colored by the same organic source. Note to file, time to scrub the tub. And yes, it is that pink biological organism that does all that. Note, don't expect Soylent Green to taste like chicken-eye. One of my favorite movies. Note to Miss Karen, concerning your excellent identification for the what am I, you identified Danburite specimen number 1 as kunzite. We, the Peanut Gallery, judge this should be granted a variance as correct. Oh, this is good. Based on knowledge that can be obtained from previous shows, all Shawn's kunzite specimens would have no color to display. They all look like Danburites because Shawn always goes into his closet and burns all the color out of his kunzites with his UV lights just for fun.
This is true.
And there you go. This is true. Look, my face is turning red in it. I can feel it. I am embarrassed. I do go to the closet often. And I have a 5 milliwatt UV laser. I have it right here. I can sit in my bed and all my specimens all around, go to each one, and the ones I know fluoresce, light them up without ever having to move with that laser. I love that laser. So I don't know. There might be some truth. And why Brad says that about kunzite is because kunzite is susceptible to sun's ultraviolet radiation. Often spodumene, which, by the way, one of the biggest lithium producers, their primary ore for lithium is spodumene. Spodumene forms crystals up to many, many feet long, many feet wide, but it's just a white opaque material. It's nothing like the gem quality in kunzite. A lot of different spodumene, or it's not kunzite at the moment, but spodumene will come up out of the ground actually bluish, but it will change very quickly on exposure to not the oxidation, not O2, but sunlight, ultraviolet light, and will change the color of it into the pink shades. Further radiation will then really highlight it. Okay, so he goes on to say, I relay the above information without peer review or verification and may contain prevarications. Okay, you're getting big words on me there, and I'm pretty semantic. So, Shawn, may a rainbow may a rainbow shine upon your backyard mica deposit. Stay healthy and may always be in the pink. Ciao, baby. Telly Savalas all the way. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brad. That was a well thought out answer and quite humorous. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn goes on to say, hi, Professor Shawn. Raven, haven't seen your bejeweled hand in a while. Well, there you go. Everyone will have to stop and see if you can find any jewelry on her. I'm sure you can. GSN crew and the whole Rock family. Yerma indeed. I used to throw that into conversations to judge, and I did that with her with that specimen. And I did it with Raven just to see. And she nailed the pronunciation as good as a Namibian would. I was very proud of her. We hadn't even mentioned that name in a long time either. She knew it. I just used to throw that into conversations, judge how advanced the other person's geo knowledge was. That's a great idea. If they didn't say, bless you, we were good. Now, now you always speak of the magic of the show. Boy, there's nothing but a bunch of really humorous people today. You always speak of the magic of the show. Well, on 3/31, I received my mineralogical record just before showtime. And what is filling the back cover but an ad for a whopper 9.1 centimeter Irango Yerma offered by Palette International, one of the high-end mineral dealers. And then you offer one for sale on the show not an hour later. Play the Twilight Zone. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. The J crystal found another home, but I did snag the North Carolina ruby in brittle mica. So pleased with its rarity. If you got that one from the Belt Way deposit, wow, that that is such a rare find. There aren't. I don't know. I don't think I could count 3 that I've ever seen. And I think 2 of them were in Mindat. That is one of the rarest pieces I've ever had. And I was wanted to know who was clever enough to recognize just how special that piece was. That makes the chunky gal stuff seem common. That nodule is irrefutable as to what it is made up of and as to where it's from, because nothing else is like it found anywhere else. Okra is an okra is an edible member of the hibiscus flower family. Oh, last week I was talking about how I used to pick okra and drink beer at 13. Those itchy spines are to discourage predators. How else did you think we were going to get in a hot summer day in Sarasota, Florida? We're having to wear a flannel shirt, long pants, and full coverings to pick okra than to offer teenage boys beer and money. So to keep them from eating their reproductive bits. But we found cooking takes care of making them edible. So cook them, make sure they're small and tender. Gumbo, anyone? Cornish miners were particular know-how for mining tin. In fact, during the Bronze Age, most of the known world traded with Cornwall for the tin added to copper that made bronze, traveling from as far away as Turkey. It is said that Rome invaded England in order to corner the tin supply, and later, think Podunk countries and Cornish pastries. Lunchable half-round pies. So listen to this. With ropey dough edges, by which the miners could grasp their food with zinc-covered hands, eating the center and throwing away the contaminated ropey edges. Cool how this all dovetails together. And if that is the case as to why they, because I know, pies, what they call pastries, meat pies, and they do have an edge that you can hold. And, when I think about holding oil permit and holding rear guard arsenic ores, boy, it would be nice to not have to eat what you touch in that case. So, yeah, that's interesting. As to the trivia, you had a specimen from the Jeffrey Mine in Quebec and spoke of both this and Graves Mountain, Georgia, as prolific sites for offering many species of minerals. That's the answer that I was looking for. 3 green garnets are Tsavorite, Urearite, Russian, and Persian. Demantoid, 2 brittle Michaels are Clintonite and Margarite with calcium in their formulas that makes them break, not bend. Great answers. It's been a crazy old week. If you don't, hey, Miss Norby, if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute. It'll be different. Enjoy if you can and duck if you can't. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn, Penny and Mahali in Quebec, always coming in at the last. Hello, Shawn, the very lovely Raven, amazing GSN crew and fellow Rockhounds. I hope this finds everyone well. I won't have time to finish watching the show before the deadline, so no trivia this week. Thank you for another great show. So far, the fave of the week is the neon blue hemimorphite. If you missed that, you want to check it out. Just a quick comment about pearl in Greek. She's our Greek expert. It is called, let me see if I can get this right. Pronounced it phonetically, accent on the ta symbol. Okay, so Mariarter is how it's pronounced phonetically, accent on the ta symbol, and both E's are long. That's it for now. Nothing new to report. We wish everyone a wonderful week and hope to see you next week. Penny and Mahali from Quebec. All right, that's it. We have got a lot of smart people this week, and when we have the same answers, and I'm allowing in the 79 mine ones, even though I was looking for just the graves, and the Jeffrey mine in Quebec. Okay, winner being magic of the show, for whatever reason, it is Asif. Have a great show. Winner is Brad. Brad is the winner, and let's show Brad what he has won. You have, this is near and dear to my own heart because this actually started out. We showed it in the live show. I think Miss Gabby, Miss Penny would have remembered it, being familiar with it. I had the largest opal. Even the opal hunter had not seen one this large. It was 14 pounds that started out, 14 pounds. I ended up cutting it up. It was this honey, natural colored opal. Look at all the color in this. Yeah, I'm giving this away. This was part of a 14-pound opal. Now, I have lacquer sprayed it with my cheesy polish, but you can see there's fantastic color in this. Yeah, Raven's shaking her head. It's like, Shawn, why do you give this stuff away? I don't know. I'm a nice guy. Look at that. Look at that blue against that honey opal. But what I think mostly this would be really cool for is look at all that cool, is for me to change my mind, keep this piece, and give you back some little trinket for your prize. That would make the most business sense. Now that I'm looking at it, wow, that's really amazing, actually. I know, I'm giving that away. Why? I don't know. So I thought that this would make a fantastic base for another mineral specimen display. But you'll probably sell it off to some other high bidder and, make a few $100 and say, thank you, Shawn. Congratulations. That is free. And you don't get the stand. Sorry, pal. All right, I'll be right back. We're going to go fast. I've lost some time. We have lots to do. Be right back. Look at this, everyone. Okay, yep, I'm going to surprise you, and I just did. I am releasing some more of the Well, Persian demantoids. Now, I say it that way because if you didn't hear the story from last week, years ago, these only were discovered, the ones outside of the Kerman province were the first in the early part of the 2000s, where they found what they thought was uvarovite in Iran. It wasn't. It was a demantoid garnet, and where some of the first demantoids from Iran came from. Many people didn't exactly know where they came from. The second find was about 300 miles away in a western Azerbaijan province of Iran. And we showed you that last week. If you want one of the most amazing presentations to see before and after what difference of 6 years of mining from 2019 to 2024, 5 years of mining, on the side of a naked barren mountain where these are found, it is really, really educational to see that and be thankful that it's not a huge operation that comes in and just strips mines out the entire deposit. It's done by just single artisanal miners that climb this huge mountain every day and go back every day and may find a specimen or two. I have to admit that I made a very wise purchase when I did, just as I did with the androdite garnets from coast Japan, the beautiful iridescent ones, which I still have a stock of those. And but with these, I have decided that I'm going to share more than those that I had last week, because I think every one of them sold the 5 pieces. So some of these are the biggest I've ever had and seen, and other ones I've made affordable for everybody. These garnets being demantoid, when you talk to dealers, everyone will tell you that and use terms like they are from a country neighboring Turkey. I had an Armenian dealer say, oh, it's from a deposit close to Armenia. They do everything they can to not use the word Iran, not only due probably to sanctions, but also due to the stigma of people not wanting to associate or buy Iranian products or minerals. Well, the way I see it, these are rocks. They have no political affiliations and no political boundaries. There's something for us in the hobby to be enjoyed. And if we can obtain something from inside a very difficult to get country like Iran, then that is a huge score. I made that score early after these were discovered, and I am just now, 10 years or so later, willing to share some of these with you. And they've even gotten more difficult to get out of the country. And what I'm going to show you is really some of about the best you can expect. You get the occasional really high-end piece. They go for thousands, and they're very not much different from what I'm going to be showing you. So I have to tell you that even if you're not collecting garnets specifically, but you want to add something amazing to your collection that can only go in one direction by way of value, and that is up. Look up Belkey's Mountain, and you'll see just how difficult it is. Did you see that, Chuck? How we did the screen? I mean, I don't think we shot the show early. It was really, really interesting to see how difficult to get to this deposit really is. Okay, so look at this. All right, we have 3 stunning emerald green demantoids. Now, demantoid garnets, we think of like the Russian ones with the horsetail inclusions that people want. And I always laugh because it's like the only stone I know where people actually want a flaw in their stone. It definitely lowers the value and the price. So having a horsetail inclusion in a Russian stone doesn't make it more valuable. It actually cuts down on the brilliance when you see one that is beautifully cut without it playing a role in the diffraction of the light. Well, you would prefer then it not to be there, because if you saw one with and without, wow, it can really make a difference. But it's kind of neat to see the inclusion, the horsetail inclusions, and it's usually hollow tubes left over from serpentine or a serpentine related type of inclusion in the form of a horse's tail. Now, I say that because a lot of people think that it is definitive of being a Russian demantoid. No. Beautiful demantoids sent into GIA from Italy, 18 of them, all 18 had horsetail inclusions. These Iranian demantoids, same thing. They also have the presence of those type of inclusions in clean stones that you can facet when you see that. So it's not indicative of just a Russian origin. Keep that in mind. Now, that said, let's get to showing you some of these. Look at that. Look at that. Look at these crystals. Now, what they're known for is being dodecahedron, or actually trapezohedron with dodecahedron modifications. And I'll see if I can't spot that on a piece to show you. You also have then a secondary green. When you see a lighter color green, and I'll try to find that for you, and it'll be diopside. There's also some metallic ores. I'll show you that in another one that has pyrite. Look at these, and beautiful other little formations as you look. So the really light green, it's almost a druzy look here that you see, is diopside. And as a matter of fact, that's what that looks like along there as well. But here are the choice beauties. This very cool cluster, I intentionally made it affordable. This would be a great one to wire wrap. See, even that shot is a beautiful angle on these. You can't go wrong. How about this? You're going to love it. $48. Yep. And that does not reflect the actual value. It's only me making it affordable for everyone. Let's keep going. Next, we're going to skip to another little bracket. I'm just taking them in whatever order they are. Item number 125-8825. 125-8825. Let's see what this brings us. And oh boy, yep, we've got a jewel now. This is one that I had to rate a world-class specimen because of the way these garnets and crystals form. They often come in contact with the other side of the pocket or opening, which can leave a crystal unfinished, in other words, not completely grown out, or a what looks like a damage spot or a place on it where it comes in contact. Just like a large pearl. When a pearl gets so big in an oyster shell that it touches the upper part of the shell, you actually want to pull the pearl out of the oyster prior to that, because it leaves a unwanted ding or mark on the upper part of the pearl. Same thing can happen with crystals. They outgrow the space there. So when you get one like this and you see the top of it, you see the entire crystal. Look at this. This is a complete garnet crystal, as you can see. And there is no imperfections in it. Now, these other little inclusions like this on the face, that's completely acceptable and almost impossible to find them without some type of little dimple like that. But what you're looking at and what you want to look at is, and it looks like I could pop that crystal right out of there. And yeah, look at that. I have no doubt that would come out as a complete crystal. Very, very tempting, but it's also very attractive in the matrix. So look at this one hiding. I mean, specimen preparers often, first they're using you can see by the calcite here, and you see by the kind of melted look that they've used a acid to dissolve away calcite. And by doing so, look what they have revealed. But how big is it? How far back does it go? They had to make a decision. This would be one, you could peel back more of this part to see and open that up more if you wanted to. That would be awfully tempting. Look how this one is tucked away like this. Here's additional calcite. You have also the diopside. Then you also, in these other places, the only other mineral really associated was Vesuvianite. And I think some of these other type crystals you're going to see may be Vesuvianite. Wow, look at that. So you got compliments also on the camera work there, Chuck, and the new camera about how amazing it is. Look at that little iris for close-ups. See, like that. That's the color of a Vesuvianite. And I just haven't seen that many to know what they look like, and Mindat didn't have one either. So we'll show some others and see if we can spot it. Okay, so now here is, you see these lighter greens, those are your diopsides, and most of them are of a druzy form. But what I really like about this specimen, as you look around the rest of it, look at these other garnets. Look at them all. This is a wonderful matrix specimen because it is speckled with, now I would first think garnet, right? But something doesn't quite look right. The formation, I would probably think that it's Vesuvianite or diopside before I would think demantoid on ones like that. And nothing wrong with that. Wow, look at that. So this is just dotted with additional mineralization, and it always makes me wonder what is on the inside. A little bit of dendritic look there. All right, so this specimen, because of it's look at that, fine condition and shape, and perched up there royally. Let me hold that in my hand so you get an idea of the size. Look at that. Look at that. That's a beauty. I have that for only $148. Only $148 on that jewel. And that's a find for you. Okay, now, next, let's keep going. We have item 125, 8625. 125, 8625. Now, these are, by way of the outside physical size of the specimens, larger kind of overall than the ones I first showed you. But in general, there are no large like plates or large specimens of multiple demantoids like you had in the Madagascar material. They're more isolated crystals on the way they are retrieved, isolated crystals on just specific individual matrix specimens like what you've seen here. You don't expect, and there aren't, 4 and 5 inch plates of incredible crystals. If there is, and if someone extracted them that way, then it would be insanely valuable. So this in itself is one of the most incredible true emerald green colors I have featured or shown you in this material yet. Take a look. Now I'm going to put them next to each other so you can see a side by side. Look at the difference in the color. Now, this, if I backlight it with light, the clarity is such that it will show a wonderful, deep, rich, saturated green. But this one, being more opaque, has that incredible emerald green color just without having to have any other backlighting or anything. Now remember what I told you, watch out for the saw sheen dealers, because saw sheen, it's not like a filler or anything, but it can help disguise inclusions like you see here. And that wouldn't be fair. I could saw sheen this up and it would look better than it does now, but it wouldn't look like it was originally. So, and saw sheen can be removed. if you know it's there. It's just trouble. We just should stay away from it. This material is beautiful enough; it doesn't need it. Look at that. So I showed you that side, but look, there's more. This is a really attractive specimen. It has pyrite. Did I list? Yeah, calcite. I did list the pyrite. So it has, look at the pyrites and the calcites, even though pyrite wasn't even listed as an official mineral at this site. But this site, and it was stated, has not been geologically reviewed by any professionals. And it's because it's in Iran. Who wants to take a chance? You might get into Iran, but are you getting back out? And there's just no one that has been willing to, remember, this is only a 11, 12-year-old deposit, to go and do official geological research on this. It's very limited. It's in a metamorphic skarn on the side of this mountain that most of the deposits produce topazolite and not demantoid. So I'll show you the difference in a bit. Okay, so you can see that there is metallic ore material going through here. Now, remember that with this demantoid, you have to have, for it to be a demantoid, calcium, iron, and then chromium. And so you're going to have chromite. I think you're going to run into there's probably some chromite in here. Look at the calcite. There's a nice little calcite crystal here. But forget all that. This is what you came for right there. Look at the size of that crystal. And it is in really good condition. And it's complete with additional other crystals running here. Calcite, this is a very attractive specimen. Let me show it in my hand. Look at this, even more on that side, so you get an idea of the size, and it really shows well. Price on this one, look how big that crystal is. Some of them I have the crystal size listed, so only $128. Let me make sure I get that item number right. Wait. 86. Hold on. And yeah, $128. So that is, when you have a specimen like that, you don't have to upgrade. You would never feel like you have to upgrade. That is really right at the top of the line for as along the lines of as good as they get, unless you want to add zeros to the price. If you could find something nicer, availability of specimens of greater value, they're only a greater value because the people are making a greater profit. You're not getting a better quality item. Does that make sense? Item 125, 84.25. And you don't go by what I'm charging. I don't know what I paid. I just know that I got a good deal, because that's, buying them then. And it means that you're going to get a good deal because, I don't know, my heart is more about sharing my passion than about making money from it. So I appreciate all of your support so I can stay doing my passion, and you get to be part of that. Let me not use that item number. That's for another item outside of these. So if you don't mind, item 1258525. 1258525. Now, this one may interest those of you who want the best of, and the best of always isn't something you gauge by the price. Many times it is, but don't always go by the price. In this case, price might have a little something to do with it, but once you see the item, then if the price is elevated, it is easy to make sense of it. I am trying to remove something at the moment. So anyway, let me, you know what? Easily distracted by shiny objects. That would be appropriate. And here we go. Okay, now what I'm going to show you has two different figures. The size of the actual specimen, and then the size of the crystal, which takes up most of the actual specimen. Take a look at this. Take a look at that. Now that is an andradite crystal. It's complete. It is complete. Look, yeah, exactly. That got a wow from Chuck. So look at the faces. Yeah. Look at every face. And like I said, these are forgiven when you have these surface inclusions. Catch the light. This is a complete crystal. Look, there is no damage. And if it was removed, it is probably complete on the backside as well. Doesn't look like this one could pop out like the other one could. Look at the surrounding, supporting gem crystals as well. How beautiful is that? Look at them all. It looks like that's where, wow, that's different. Where another crystal might have been. It could have been a calcite crystal that was dissolved out, even though, let's see if there's any other calcite here. Someone may have done some specimen preparation to expose that crystal. They would have been brave. Look at these tucked away. This is an amazing specimen. And those dealers that deal in high-end minerals would create one of the most flowery descriptions of this and then ask well over $1,000 in auction. It would easily be run up to that amount as well. There's something interesting right there. So I'll leave that to whoever is lucky to get this, and do some figuring on your own. Now, you can see the complete piece is 1 1/4 by 1 inch, but this crystal is 20 by 17 millimeters. By any standards, that is a monster. Go to Mindat, look at the Mindat, which is such a wonderful tool for comparing and seeing what is the average type specimen in the market. Now, most of the times they are nicer specimens, but what it does show you is that almost all the specimens of Iranian demantoid are small. 1 to 2 inches is about all. And it's just the crystals and the quality of the crystals on that. This is amazing. It has such a wonderful additional supporting crystals around it. And that, I just wanted to get it to stand on its own. Let me see. Oh, it wants to do it so badly. I'll just lean it. There we go. All right. So, this, from what I understand, and remember, there's not been a true geological report done on this deposit, which is extremely rare. But imagine who wants to go to Iran and wind up in a jail for 5 years for doing nothing but looking at rocks. And that's pretty much the way it could go. So values are relative, and when there's nothing much to compare to, it is an open-ended value, and it could exceed far beyond what I'm going to ask for this in every realm, because there's not another one. I don't have another one, and I was privy to a recent offering, and I turned it all down because what I already had was better. So, as is what is usually the case, the best material is found first. Later material, most of the time, is inferior to the first initial discoveries. So, anyway, the price I'm putting on this is ridiculously inexpensive for what it is, and the rarity for what it is. Only $228. Only $228. And Next, you have a stunning and extremely rare, large specimen of a crystal that you have to go to one of the most dangerous countries in the world and up the side of a mountain to get. So almost no one does it, including Iranians themselves. You saw the map from last week, and I highly recommend, if you didn't see last week's presentation, to make sure you do, because in the picture there's a exact sliding function from 2019 to 2024. And the additional amount on the side of this barren mountain that was dug was so minimal. It was good to see, because it's the little individual artisanal miner that's actually getting the money, not a big company that comes and strips out the entire deposit. So anyway, price only $228. That's an amazing value. Let me get going here. Item 1258725. 1258725. I'm just showing you, make sure you get to see the best ofs. Yes, ma'am, if you could. I am already swamped here with the items, getting tempting to that one. I think I rewrap. This one needs to, oops, not good. That may match the item number, I'm not sure. Okay, here we have item number 1258725. 1258725. And let's see, how many, let's see, why did it do that? 1258725. Okay, this one is what I referred to earlier as the majority of the ones. So you get up on the side of the mountain. It was a horrible hike. You got up there. You had to probably pay off some security guards, whatnot. And the majority of what you find up there is not the green stuff that you're looking for. You end up finding something beautiful, but not as valuable. Check this out. Here is your topazolite. Now, we know, remember topazolite from the Madagascar material and topazolite from the Namibian material. There'd be a topazolite crystal next to a demantoid crystal, and it has to do with the additional impurities of making it more yellowish brown versus the green color. So look at these, though. These are extremely well-formed. Oh, here we go. I can show you the trapezohedron with the dodecahedron modifications. Huh? You excited about that? I know. See? Let's hear some sound. I mean, thank you. Just to, that's like saying polylithionite dash trilithionite series, which is the new name for what was lepidolite. Come on. Polylithionite, trilithionite. That is, you got to use the two together to replace just lepidolite. Sometimes. So topazolite has nothing to do with topaz, it has to do with more of the color, maybe looking like topaz in this. Look at how well formed these crystals are. Now, here we go. I wonder if anyone would know what the modification is. And it is on both of these crystals. All right. If you just took these 4 crystals right there, faces to the crystal, there is a trapezohedron. But if you go and flatten one right there in a diamond shape, and look at this one, same thing. Right in the middle, it just happens to be bigger. See the diamond shape to it? That is, as far as my understanding goes, the dodecahedral modification. It actually makes it special. So they're special. Look at these other little crystals on this one. This one may not be green, but it is, what to me, extremely aesthetic and beautiful. Look at these calcites. Now here, you have, the question mark didn't come up because there wasn't room, but on the Vesuvianite, in the descriptor, I put a question mark afterwards because I couldn't confirm, but pink Vesuvianite, this color Vesuvianite, it does occur in, and I can't imagine what else it could be. So Beautiful calcites. You have most likely Vesuvianite here. Look at, there's another garnet. There's a garnet. You have portions of garnets all across here. More potential Vesuvianite, most likely. Another garnet, but really interesting backside to this. Then look at this. Look at all these little guys around there. Isn't that neat? I think this is neat. And then a calcite vein. I am offering this at such a ridiculous price, just again to put it in someone's hands and make it affordable. So if you've already gotten some other really nice ones, then maybe let someone with a smaller budget have this one, because I am offering this one for only $48. Only $48, which is an exceptional value. Okay, now let's keep going. I have item number 125-8425. 125-8425. And this is a jewel. You saw some of them last week. I talked about them. Vivianite. Vivianite. The iron, look at that. Look at that crystal. And look at the blues and the greens that reflect out of it. Now, last week you saw some of those stunning pieces I had. I think most of them are sold, but I had this one that I thought I would share also, and in case someone missed out. So if you've already gotten one, maybe leave this one, and after a day or two, if no one has bought it, then go ahead and make it yours. But in just fairness, since some of these are limited and they're going to be in such demand, let's see if we can't let everybody have a chance at one. Then, if it doesn't sell, go for it. Get a couple of them. Same thing with demantoids. If you already bought, there's been enough demantoids that I think you can buy a couple of them without, waiting and worrying. Buy the ones you want. Buy 2 of the demantoids. And, if they get sold, I will actually offer a couple few more. Yep. So don't be too kind to your brethren. The idea is to sell them. You may want to wait a day and see what's available after that. But if you see what you like and it's one of the better ones and you want to upgrade and keep still the one you have, of course, don't return it. I don't want any returns. If I show these week to week, I run into that. But just buy another one, because you're buying a quarter for a nickel. It'd be like returning a dollar bill you found on the street to someone that is just going to keep it, and better for you just to keep it. This is from that deposit in the Amazon River that's now appearing to be a legal claim. These are found in pods, what they call pods. These are like open cavities in the bog. And give you an idea, did you just see how we lost 4 of our wonderful, wonderful servicemen in Lithuania because they're giant, heavy, the largest, bigger than a tank equipment that the Army has hit one of these bogs, and it completely submerged it. And it would have been a horrible experience. Completely sucked it under and killed all the servicemen. Yeah, it was terrible. But that is what bogs do is, and why you get these bogmen from thousands of years ago. It's an anaerobic environment. In other words, no oxygen. Eventually, it turns into peat, which is burnable and used as a fuel in still many of the northern latitude countries or places that have peat bogs. But in these pockets of these bubbles that are formed within the bog, that's how vivianite can form. And when it is perfectly clear when you break into one of these pods, but as soon as it's exposed not to sunlight but to oxygen, it turns a blue to green color. And some scientists say it continues to darken, but really the end result that I came to after reading a lot of information was they don't. That light only changes and alters the color to a certain degree. and then it stops. Okay, look at this. Look at those crystals for the money. This is one of the most attractive specimens I have ever seen. Now, look at this. These are siderite, little siderite butchroids. And you can see from the negative impression that this would have come off from another crystal that was attached to it here, because you have the negative and the positive side. This is siderite, which is, remember, an iron carbonate, one of the carbonate family. So it's just like calcite except iron, FeCO3, and like so many other carbonates. Now, let me show you. This also is very dichroic, meaning it changes color with the direction you turn it. Let me backlight this, and so you can see into it. And go ahead and kill the kicker there, if you would, sir.
I see a lot of blue and.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of blue and green. And there we go. And as you turn the piece, it will alter the colors. Look at that. Look at the surface colors. So there's a surface reflection, then there's an internal color as well. Look at that. This is, I have never seen another mineral do exactly what this is, what this does by way of color. I mean, that is trippy. That is trippy. Look at the tips. I mean, a minute ago, I didn't think I saw any blue up there, but look at that green. Thank you, sir. This, I love the way it sits, except it doesn't show off the siderite, but it still displays really attractively that way. You can see in my hand how big that is. I have a deal on this to make it affordable for everyone, and that is a price, wow. Yeah, of only $58. Only $58. That's a really great deal. Great opportunity. Now, ma'am, let me give you these, if I could. Okay, let me stop there for just 1 minute, and I'll be right back. Sometimes you just have to stop for a minute and gaze and take something like this all in. The Huansala mine in Peru. Most people know nothing about it. It is world renowned for its pyrite and quartz combinations. And I was fortunate enough to be able to buy a flat of it was mixed Peruvian minerals. So it included the Cuernavaca mine, the Huron mine, the Huansala mine, all those mines that are kind of in this one area that produce these stunning specimens. This was one of them. And I'm talking about going way back. And I have so enjoyed this, and you're going to see why. Look at, it's kind of like what they call a porcupine formation of quartz, as you can see, aptly named. And I have taken such good care. There is almost very little breakage of any of these as I look at it under a huge magnification and TV monitor. It is so neat when you look actually deeper in there and you see pyrite cubes completely engulfed, barely visible underneath the quartz. Look at these. And with the beautiful striations on them. And striations on pyrite, sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. They can also, some mines produce pyrite with no striations. So striations can actually help determine origin at times. As we just continue to look, it's around this, there is not an angle that isn't attractive. And I just really, to peel back the quartz, I wonder what it looks like, because I bet it's a beautiful bed of nothing but pyrite crystals. I mean, underneath this dome, you can see a little part of one, but I bet there is, yeah, a mix of them. You know why I feel like it's that way? Because all I have to do is turn it over. Look at where we start from. There is definitely a pyrite base that the quartz has grown on. Look at that. You can see darker areas. Then let's see if I backlight this and let me see if much light passes through. So you can see some light, and here is where I can see that there's just a mound of pyrite underneath the quartz. This is a striking specimen that would illuminate and anyone's showcase. And here's the thing: you can have a $2,000-$3,000 specimen, or you can have one like this that I greatly dropped the price just to get your attention. $98. Don't have another one. $98, or one that's $2,000 or $3,000. And you know what? Someone walking by your cabinet that shouldn't be a china cabinet, throw the china out, put in mineral specimen, and you know what they'll go to? They'll go to this one first. They'll go to your $98 specimen first. Less one little crystal on the edge. Crumbs, remember? That's what the raven loves to keep. Actually, let me show you. Here is what am I's are going to be coming from today. The thuya wood box with crumbs. Okay, this piece, I'm not going to offer another one for $98 like that. I don't even know if I have another one. This one easily. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The auctions, people love that kind of combination because of the aesthetics. It would be run up to a value what I would consider higher than it's even worth. I mean, things are worth what people are willing to pay for it. So to say it's not worth that is not true. Whatever the price would be run up to, let's say it was ran up to $600, which it could. Who's to say it's not actually worth that? I haven't seen anything nice coming out. Just because I bought it years ago at a good deal doesn't mean it's not worth a whole lot more now. And I'm a bad businessman. So, you know, that explains most of the reason why it's only $98. Other than that, it should be much, much more. Okay, let me keep going. Now, this next one was a big surprise. Item number 1215-824. 1215-824. It is one of the finest euhedral, which means fine symmetry for a crystal of ruby I have ever seen. Look at that. Look at that. Now, this is such a rare specimen that over the years, owning it, it has just become so much more rare. They used to take these crystals and make spheres out of them. I bought the spheres. When I had my jewelry store, I bought the spheres. I sold ruby spheres, sapphire spheres. No longer. No longer. First, the price went way up. Then the material just was not available. Here is some of the really amazing things about this crystal. For one, it has some of the most stunning fluorescence imaginable. Just this bright red fluorescence. That's cool. Okay, it should if it's ruby. Second, it's a floater. In other words, this crystal formed without being attached to a sidewall, to another crystal, to a base, to a ceiling. No. It was like a sugar crystal that broke off the wall of a glass jar and floated to the bottom of the jar and then continued to grow separate from any other contact. And that is called a floater in our industry, a floater crystal. Floater crystals have value. They're rare. This one is huge and very rare for that reason. This crystal grew to this size without the weight. Look at the weight. Without being attached to any other wall and just continue to grow. Now, look at the trigons. See those triangles? Then look at the three that give you the look of the R word. What is the symbol for radiation, right? See those three triangles right there? Well, of course, it's not radioactive, but when you see that, it's distinctive and it's desirable in this type of crystal. Now, let me show you something else. Let's go to the other end. Look at this. Okay, so you have trigons, but they're arranged completely different. This is more in what they call hillocks. That is grown in steps. Look at that. See that? You don't see it, notice until you turn it at the right angles. That type of growth and formation is desirable. Now, I've got a collector that has been scooping up some of the really nice high-end good stuff at great deals. He hasn't come out or left any comments, but he certainly knows his specimens. And this is one I'm actually surprised he hasn't scooped up on yet. Maybe he hasn't seen it, but you know who you are, and if you really want to add to your collection, this is one of them. The other thing about that pyrite and quartz piece I showed, people are familiar with pyrite. Everybody is. If you say pyrite, and if they don't know pyrite, say fool's gold. Oh yeah, fool's gold. And of course, everyone knows quartz. It's a recognizable specimen all the way around, and so people can relate to it. That's the beauty of this. This is a ruby. People know ruby. Or if you want to get really technical, say it's a purple pink sapphire. People know sapphire. They can relate to it. So it becomes a wow factor. Now, if you told them, oh, this is a big scapulite, so you say, huh? It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't mean much. This means a lot. Now, we're not done. Here is the other real cool thing about this. Now, remember, ruby is July's birthstone. Now, on the side, here, just one I see right there. Oh yeah, with that magic new lens you have, take us all the way in. Look at that. You have garnet crystals. See if you get a final focus on that. I'll hold it steady as a rock.
On the program, I think it's clear.
Okay, look at that. Oh, I see, yeah. There's another garnet. You have some etching. That's these dimples that you see here that have occurred, which is natural and common. Look at it. So you have these other crystals that are formed, and most of them being garnet, and most likely an almandine pyrope type combination. You have other mineral deposits here. And then look at some left for discovery. What in the world? That is interesting right there. That is definitely another crystal. That is a garnet. So much left for exploration and discovery on this, which is a lot of fun. Now, here's other garnets. One more thing, if this doesn't sell, this is what I'm thinking of. You've seen me do it before, and I could do it again. I could take this with my diamond saw, and I can saw paper-thin wafers, 6-sided wafers, drill a hole in them, and make one of the most amazing, I always forget that word. What is it called? Things dangling down in the sun that you hang.
Sun catcher?
Catcher.
No, that's not a dream catcher.
No sun catcher.
Not a sun catcher.
Wind chime?
Like a wind chime, except it's called when you have the things hanging down at different heights. What are those things called? Anyway, I've made them before. We have one in our kitchen window. They're like a chime. Yeah, see? You know the word I'm talking about. You can't think of it either. It's because you turned older. What is the word? Chuck, you're young. Let's see if you're super smart. You know what I'm talking about. The things that hang down at different levels, most of the time, sometimes they hit each other, but I make sure that these don't when they're ruby slices. And they make for beautiful, beautiful displays. And whether you put them inside, which is recommended because they're gems, but put them in the sun, and gorgeous. And that's where you can just do one of those fake sprays, lacquer spray on them to get that clear look. So this would allow many, 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 many slices. There is no more of these large crystals. This, if it was offered in an auction now, being the fact that you could put a ruby to it, euhedral to it, and all the proper words, without a doubt, it would easily go over $1,000. Let me show you how deep the penetration, kill the kicker for a minute. I want to show you how translucent that actually is. Look at the light penetration in this piece, and that look at that. Look at that. That is value. That is money. That is rare. This, look at that. This is, look how deep that goes. I mean, this is outstanding. Thank you. So I think this is going to be the last time I'm offered this. This is something I've had for some time, and it can certainly, there's a lot you can do it to. I could take half of it, slice it up in wafers, and still end up with a gorgeous half of it euhedral crystal specimen. Anyway, I only offered this one time in the live show. I have a huge discount on it now. So if you thought it was expensive, it wasn't then, but it's even going to be less now. And in the case where I sold it as a price per carat situation, I'm going to sell it as a price per gram situation. This is from the very famous Mysore deposit. It has etching and trigons. And at 280, wow. So that is 454 grams is a pound. So that is over half a pound of a ruby. Kind of ridiculous. So, you know, a price that would be so far below its value, I'm going to offer it for. That way I know that that's the floor, and I'll never offer it less than that. So if it doesn't sell at that point, I'll certainly keep it, because try to find another one that is that beautiful and rare and see what they're offering for it. I would be interested to know. Not really, because I kind of already do know. I didn't find anything but to compare it to, but I just know the general value. So if I offer that, you know, at $2 a gram, we're looking at only $564. That's it, $564. But you know, I like to do magic numbers, and that is not even a prime number. So let's go ahead and put some magic into the number and make it an auspicious piece by going with, well, 7s and 8s or more. I guess I can only make it 5 plus 2 is 7, and I'm not a numerologist, so let's just $527. That sounds like a heck of a deal. $527. I wonder what Latif was thinking. He's got, he really, that boy has got a magical brain. He is one of those quiet thinkers, and then comes out with these just intelligent thoughts that blow my mind. Anyway, that is without a doubt one of the best values I've ever had. It's just going to take someone that recognizes it for what it is. Okay, I gotta keep going. I better go. Okay, here we go. Item number 11880. Poor Shawn. I don't want to mess it up like I did. Okay, so 1188824. 1188824. I have a treat. I'm going to do something. I'm going to have fun. So, okay. Oh, check that number, Shawn. Never liked the sound of that. Oh, you're right. What did I do? Oh, okay, wait. 1188824. Did we get there? Did it say aqua? No? Huh? Yeah, that's right. Sorry. I said aqua. I meant it's barrel. Ghost night. Okay, we're good. Okay. Look, if you had a display in your cabinet, okay, let's say you have that, and then you look at this. Look how beautiful. Even something like that, you can add. It could be a stand for something else. just for a while and put something else on. All right, here's the next super rare offering. And a jewel. Here you go. Closer. Goshenite. Goshenite, named after Goshen, Massachusetts, where this material was first discovered, which is quite unique. I actually looked up the actual farm and place, and it's pretty much woods now, but I would love to know the exact location. Goshenite is beryl that has no coloring, and that is what, in its pure form, beryl is colorless because it's an allochromatic mineral, so it gets its coloring from impurities. If it has chromium impurities, it's emerald and green. If it has blue, then it has iron impurities in it for the blue and blue-green colors, which under heating, it will convert the valence and drive off the green. This is absolutely colorless, without a doubt. There is not even the lightest tint of green or blue. This is a complete crystal in a matrix specimen of Goshenite that goes all the way down. And wow, look at that. That is really unique. It has a incredible, beautiful phyllosilicate of muscovite mica. With the perfect demonstration of the layering of the plates. Then you have, this is often with this material, it's like a feldspar coating that ends up, a lot of the times it can be flaked off if you want to sit there and do that. It looks like it has covered up a couple of other crystals altogether, as a matter of fact. Now, in looking at this, you have also shoral tourmaline, as you can see, and a wonderful classic combination of Brazilian material. A lot of times you think that this would be from the Gilgit, Pakistan area, but it's not. It's not. I did not check this for any anhydrous, but look at how the mica reflects back behind there. Yeah, you saw it at the same time I did. That's kind of neat. It also shows you the clarity of the Goshenite. That is a really nice gemmy crystal. Here is the termination. Look at the corner, the little pinacoid faces on the corners of that. That's pretty neat. This is a great specimen, and I'm, again, going to do somewhat a favor that gets in on this. Someone find it a wonderful home. It is Goshenite. And I saw actually Goshenite being offered a few weeks ago, similar specimen, and I was gobsmacked at how much it was selling for and what people were willing to pay for it. You know, I don't know. $68 comes to mind. And you know what? It would go for $268. Yeah, $68 is a foolish price for me to put on it. All right. I am going to roll. Here is now let's look at item number 1230824. 1230824. Check this out. Yep. I have, if you are collecting garnets, I have, especially demantoids, one of the Madagascar demantoids. Here it is. Check this guy out. Oh, yeah. And I've been saving this one if someone wanted to add to a collection and didn't have that. Now you can. Look at this. Look at this. So this is the one I was talking about that you can have some topazolite in this, and you can see, or I mean, Chuck can see in different lighting. This happens. This is actually a lot more green than what you're seeing. Now, I'm going to do something. It does, isn't it? Yeah. So Chuck is concurring. So I'm going to try something out of curiosity. I'm going to turn this light off, and I'm going to put in another neat light that I have brought in. So, hey, if anyone's never seen this, I'm just going to show everyone this. These are neat to get. Okay. If you've ever seen one of these, if we come out on the shot, look at this. Okay. So these are great to put up in your house if you don't have long hair. They only take 3 batteries. And you can just put them up on the wall anywhere you want. It's better than and look at this. So you flip the switch and bam, very, very bright. Plus, here is what I like. It's the wavelength of light. It's the wavelength of light. So let me do something here and just look and see if it changes it on the monitor. I see that this back crystal is certainly a stronger color, a different color. Now, I can switch back and forth by, let me see this. Okay, by doing this. There you go. There you go. So you see the difference in color? Now I'm going to switch back. Oops, went too far. Okay, so focus. Everybody focus on that color. Let me get the glare off of that. Oh, I know it's camera focused. Okay, and then look at that. You see the difference in the coloring. So that's why there is these garnets that do and will show a color change, which is pretty neat. You can see how much more green that is. So I'm looking at it right now, and there's a lot more green to this than what you're seeing. This is a fantastic specimen. I am going to offer this at a big discount. This is a monster size, perfect condition. Look at this. Just a little incomplete growth, but that's only because it looks like it grew up against another mineral, leaving the negative impressions. You have calcite. All right. And then you have a bargain. This was I even know the year it was mined. It was mined in 2009. Wow. Very cool. Yeah, this because of that large perfect crystal would sell for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I'm going to offer it though for only it's really amazing, $128. $128, which makes absolutely no sense at all for an andradite garnet. Look at the size of that in perfect shape. But I want to give everyone some deals today. Now, okay, I showed it. Okay, now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do some quick show and goes. And that's where I show the item and move on to the next one really quick, because you've either seen them before or there's very little information I need to share with you. So you probably should pull your chair in closer. Let's start off with the first one, which is 124-1025. 124-1025. Let's lock and load, roll and go. And look at this. All right. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's a beauty. That's a beauty. If you haven't gotten in on your precious Mexican fire opal. Now remember, there's a difference. Precious Mexican fire opal. The key word being precious. And that is a definition, a defining thing I give when the Mexican opal, fire opal, can just be that orange color with no reflective play of color. This is for the ghost night. Look at this. Look at this nodule. This is beautiful. It has actually all the different colors, and it is stable as far as it not being like a hydrophane type of opal. Look at this. Look at this nodule. And you can see, wow. Okay. I think I forgot about this. Okay. That tells me everything. If I wanted to cut this, which, why not? You know, it's make a beautiful specimen, but I would make this the bottom, and then I'd start removing this material and see how much silica is there. If it's silica, it's going to have fire. And that would be a great piece to cut. But you could also, if you have that narrow diamond saw like I did, you can cut this into thin slices, make dangle earrings. Could you imagine opal centers like that? Wouldn't that be beautiful? Yeah. Very easy to do. And even if you had a boo-boo or two, there's enough material to work with there, because you know the silica goes all the way back here. It would be worth trying to figure out and and doing it. So this is a special, you can see my own personal collector specimen. I'm going to offer it for a discount if someone wants to own a fantastic specimen and potential gem. $48. $48. That is, yeah, a fantastic opportunity. Next, let me see. Always get excited. I love this stuff. Item 120, 40, 24. 120, 40, 24. And here is a parcel. Look at that. Look at that. Almost looks like those echinites that I sold to Matt that were that's the most radioactive gemstone there is. This is very similar color, but these aren't. Let me just show you. Look at how beautiful these have been cut. And even though you might think, oh, it's a more common color tourmaline, not really, because it's not the olive green, but really the difference is the brilliance. And that makes up for a lot when something is well cut. So I have these exceptionally priced for all three. It's kind of doesn't even make any sense. I have the measurements, number 7 for you, all there. Okay, so get all three, $58. I know, $58. One should be $58. Now, mixing it up, let's look at item 125, $39.25. And you know what a cool chick the Raven is when one of her favorite minerals is this next one. How many women say, oh, I love stibnite? We had a conversation about stibnite. You know what she did? She, by chance, hadn't even looked at, we years ago opened up a Robinhood account. It was one of those, you know, match, they put in money and as you spend money or round up or whatever. And we quit doing that because it was taking more money than we wanted it to. So we just left it. We actually forgot about it. They give you, to open the account, they give you a free stock. And you get to pick up to a certain level. And I told her, let's pick, and this is years ago, like 3-4 years ago. I said, let's buy a stock. This is how weird I am. I said, let's buy an antimony stock. And the cool Raven said, oh, that's a great idea. And, you know, antimony is one of those rare earths that are needed for batteries. And we picked it. We forgot about it. We looked at the chart since then, and oh my, if I had had any money at all and, you know, put it into this, the stock that we just ran, we had no idea about it. We just randomly picked it because it was an antimony mining stock. And what was, true story, what was basically a $15 stock, our jaws dropped. $127 it had turned into. And that's when, you know, the saying, you buy it and forget about it. It blew me away. But I was right about foreseeing antimony being a valuable commodity. Now, of course, anything I say about any of this, don't take my advice. I am a contrarian indicator. In other words, basically whatever I do in the market, do the opposite of, and then you'll make money. I swear, I will buy a stock and the very next day or hour, it goes down. And when I sell, the very next day or hour, it goes up. And that's just it. So, you know, I need to go against myself and do the opposite of what myself would normally do. So, and I got it right on the antimony. And all that actually ties into this specimen. I'm segueing into stibnite because stibnite is one of the primary antimony ores. It's only 2 elements. SBS, it's an antimony sulfide. It's heavy. Look how gorgeous that is. Look at those intergrown crystals. That is stunning. It's from a very Ichinokawa mine and extremely showy. Extremely showy and very desirable, and from a country that you want it to be from, known for producing amazing stibnites. Price on this, it was already a deal at $148. I said I was going to be doing some sales. This is one of them. I'm making this one only $118, unmatchable, by way of trying to find a deal better than that. Let me show you near and dear. Of course, my totem animal has always been the owl, and I've got some amazing owl stories to tell you at some point. But that said, let me show you one of my most treasured collectibles. This is item 1234324. And let's say hi to Mr. Hootie Owl. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. All Bahia emerald. Look at it. Look at the beak. Look at the clarity to the beak. Look at the eyes. This is one solid piece of emerald. Oh, thanks, Latif. Latif said that's really pretty. That's cool. Thanks, Latif. Thanks, Chuck. And
That's cool.
it is cool. I have enjoyed that as a wonderful piece. And you know, if it wasn't for the financial situation that I'm in and needing a tooth and these and now my truck broke down, I would continue to keep him. But just like I had that dragon in the Sugalite. So take advantage of me when I'm at a weak moment and need to raise some funds. And this is one I'm offering now at a sale price for you. Let me show you something, because this, go ahead and kill the kicker. I have no doubt that we can, yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so when you can look that deep into what sometimes may look like an opaque specimen, no. That the clarity and quality are so much greater when you can illuminate the piece like I'm doing here. Thank you, sir. Look at that guy. All right, so it was $788, which was a really good value, because think about that, less than $4 a carat. Here, sale pricing this guy is going to bring it down. I'm going to make it $588. Only $588 on that. Price per carat, look at that. So less than $3 a carat. And here's the other thing. It's a very detailed owl, very detailed, especially when you're carving an emerald. Remember, if you're working with that nose or beak, I guess, it wouldn't take much to just overcarve it. You can't put emerald back on. You can't, not like working a wax or working a piece of wood. Once it's gone, it's gone. It's removed. There's no repair. There's no fixing it. I know when I facet and accidentally put an extra facet, and you see that on diamonds sometimes. The only solution is to repeat that error symmetrically all the way around a stone to come out of it and make it look like you intended it to be that way. Actually, some very well-known, incredible schematics for gem cutting have been discovered through errors, through accidentally, not looking and indexing wrong, and all of a sudden cutting an unwanted facet. Well, you can't add back, but you can replicate your mistake all the way around it. And if it doesn't affect the brilliance or create a dead spot, then that's what you have to do to make it look intentional. So there's no saving this when you whack off the beak or do something, pop the eye out, grind it too far, etc. There is no replicating the error all the way around to fix it. It's yeah, you get one shot. All right, take advantage. That's an opportunity. Now, I want to run through some gemstones really quick. So be ready. We're going to do kind of a show and go. Many of these you don't even need to see them outside of the tube. Item 1219, 224. Excuse me. 1219, 224. How about that? Look at that. Look at that. Whatever they call it, millennial cut. I like just a concave cut. It does take special cutting equipment to be able to cut the concave facets like that. Ametrine, natural. This is natural ametrine from the Nahi mine in Bolivia. Employs about 70 people. And when you see them in this color, they're natural. It's natural. If you see them super dark purples with super dark yellow in, they are radiated. They are not so natural, and stay away from them. There's really no value to it. Well, except whatever you want to perceive the value to be. Look,
That's really cool.
isn't that cool? Yeah, that's cool. So this material is hard to get. The rough material, I have some of. That is really hard to get. I have allowed a few pieces of it to be sold. I had a big crystal, and I've sold some slices off of it over the years. Price on this one, you're not going to believe it, because I'm offering it for $48, which $20 a carat would be more in line with the value of it. But again, we're having a sale day. Item number 122, 8324. 122, 8324. And see, this is nice where I can just hand these items off to the Raven and can move on. Here we go. I cannot believe this parcel is available. I think I'd shown it before as a March special, and what? Nobody bought it? Excuse my dirty tray. I'll clean that in a minute. Let me get these munched up together, and look at that. Look at that. I have one beautiful. It would be a Santa Maria color. So people use Santa Maria. It's supposed to be an origin, but everybody uses it for a reference of color, and they overuse it. They call just about any color Santa Maria, which is bunk. Now, this one, you see the green tint in it? That is probably not been heat treated. Heat treating will remove it. Look at the size of this one. Look at the size of that. That is an aquamarine, a clean aquamarine. Look at these others. If you're a gem cutter and want to practice improving on some cutting, heck, here you go. This is some fantastic material, even though they don't need improvement. But for what you're paying for them, you could do anything you want. Wait till I tell you the price. Look at that. This, I want to show you because it's actually a well-cut stone. So, but this little guy right here, this blue one, what I'm going to ask for the whole parcel, that blue one covers it. I'll clean that tray in just a moment. You're not going to believe it, but go ahead and do believe it, because we're talking about 9 stones, 10 carats, $38. $38, less than $4 a carat. That's just stupid. Ridiculous. Okay. That's why it's not worth me taking it out and doing all that for it. All right, since we're sticking with the barrel, let's stick with this one. Item 124, 3525. 124, 3525. And what I have next is the mother of some of these stones. Goshenite again. Now, let me show it to you after I clean this tray. Osip saw that. He would holler at me. Oh, yes, sir. Thank you. Can you get me a piece of this? Okay. The item number on this is item 124, 3525. And, oh, hold on. What did I do? Okay. Computers, so much easier in the old days. Okay, here we go. Check these out. And all right, boom. Look at how clear white they are. Clear white. And then, let's see, did I give you the right item number? Because this is Ghost Night. 1, 2, 4, 35, 25. 1, 2, 4, green Madagascar appetite. Let's see, Namibian Ghost Night. How'd you get that? Come on. 1, 2, 4, 35, 25. It sure is. I tell you what, I don't want to mess that up, but I don't know how that did that because I've used this item number. Those, you want to see this? Are you going to redo it or not? You want me to skip it? Okay, here we go. Look at this. All right, so everyone could be talking about clear white Erongo Mountain Namibian Goshenite, 18.03 carats, 27 by 7 milliliters, facet grade, 2 stones. Now, while Latif is working his magic, I want to show you what is so cool about these. Those crystals of siderite. The item number? 1, 2, 4, 35, 25. I don't know what happened. Yeah. Look at these. Look at these siderites growing on the end. And then look at the clarity of the crystal. That is absolutely facet grade. There is no tint of color. This is Namibian Goshenite. Let's see. Let's get the weight in there. 18.03 carat. And it has siderite as well. Siderite and 27 by 7 millimeters is the longest one, but you don't have to put that in there. That's just since they all know now. All right, that one, unusual growth at the bottom, but I love the siderite crystals at the top. These are striking for a collector who loves special crystals. The fact of it being colorless completely, that's a rarity. Sale price on these, you're gonna love it or should. Only $44 for the 2 of them. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling here. Now, item number 119-7524. 119-7524. What I'm going to show you, I'm not going to take out of the bag, but you've seen these before because I did the demonstration of what they look like before I put them in water. This is stable hydrophane opal. In other words, it doesn't crack. Look at the colors in this material. It's so, actually I will take these out. These need to find a home because every one of these, look at it, facet grade color. Yeah, exactly. You got to bring it down even to be able to get the, there we go, to see the color flash. Look at that. There's no inclusion. Look at that. Oh, wow. That is on stable old chocolate macesso material. That would cut a stunning stone. Look at that. Look at that. Again, facet grade quality if you want. Look at this jewel. Look at the color if you just left it as a specimen. Look at this one. Look at the clarity. Yeah. This would cut close to, if you oriented right with the black, you could get a dark base, natural dark base to it. Look at the colors in that. Oh, wow. Yeah, much left to be discovered. And wow. Wow. All right. There we go, 50 carat 6 stones. This is a parcel I've been meaning to get to for some time. And, you know, to sell it for what I'm going to doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to anyway. How about this? The entire parcel that you see, $48. Only $48. Now, if you leave it out of the water, it won't crack or anything. It just ends up kind of, some of them will cause them to be opaque, but that's part of the fun of hydrophane Ethiopian opal. $48 sounds simply ridiculous, which it is. It really is. Oh, this is for that Dementor that I couldn't find it earlier. Okay, now let me keep moving. Oh, yes, here we go. I hadn't done a lot of items like this in a while, so I know there's a lot of you that like this price point. Item 120.79.24. 120.79.24. I'm not going to take these out. It's not for what I'm going to ask. It's not worth the time. Don't need to, because what you see here is a stunning value. I'll put them against a white background so you can kind of see there's 21 stones, and there is how many different varieties? 20 carats, 21 stones, faceted gems. So to give you an idea, so you know what is what, you see garnets there. There is, well, I hate it because I don't want to leave you without knowing what they are. So right here is the money stone for the whole batch, it looks like. There is a sapphire. That's a chrome dioxide. That is a aqua. You have citrines. Look at these peridot. Peridot. Okay, so when it comes to something like that, what do we do? Well, here we go. That's what you need this for. And boom. Okay, so that is magical for that to pick up. That's what you want to see. What is that? What am I if I'm that color and am able to be picked up by a magnet? Now you saw this get picked up, so you know that's an almandine garnet. What else? Look at this. Look at that now. That has absolutely no draw. It could be pink sapphire if you're living well, or it's a pink tourmaline. Most likely pink tourmaline. Ha! You didn't even see all these. Look at that heart shape. Look at how well cut some of these are. And white topaz, most likely. Another white topaz, blue topaz. Look at that. And let's check that one. Okay, almandine. And that one, I should see who would get it. What other garnet's magnetic? I mean, it may not be a garnet, but if it was, you know what it would be? Remember, manganese is magnetic. What has manganese? Spessartine. That's a spessartine garnet right there. How cool is that? Huh? How cool is that? Okay, so that whole parcel, and for the silly opportunity of $36. Next, item number 1217.924. 1217.924. I had told you I've been going to do some show and goes here and some deep discounting. Look at this. This is, oh my. This is a stone that I have seen marketed for a lot of money per carat. Not that it's not worth it, but that's not what I'm going to charge for this one. Look at that. That is a Tanzanian spinel. And it is, yeah, pretty. Look at that. Look at that. With the smudge on the top, but still. Ooh, that is fascinating. Oh, yeah, y'all can say cheesy jokes. There you go. There you go. There's the round of applause. And I just want to show you that that is not a boo-boo across the top. It's just my fingers. There we go. All right. Anyway, this is nuts. 2.56 carat, $256, probably. But instead, I'll get fussed at by Latif when I say $38. Yep, $38. That is, yeah. Silly Shawn. Okay, now. Oh, man, those are beautiful. Okay, here we go. item 1217, 824. 1217, 824. Check these out. I had these cut from rough, and they were too small to be faceted. This is the Umba sapphire material. Yeah, Kim loves, Kim, aka the Raven, loves sapphires and loves the Umba material and the pastel colors to them. Look at that. These are all beautiful sapphires. And I mean, you can flip some of them upside down and fasten them for fun if you want. And let's see. Oh, that must be the wrong item number. I don't see any tiger right there. Let's see, 12. That's me reading my 6s and 8s wrong, I bet. I did that before. I am famous for it. Let me, here we go. Item 1216, 824. Survey says, all right, that's mo better. Okay, price says $48 for 2.58 carat of cabochons. How cool those would be for eyes, etc. in creatures. I know that is. By the way, all the silver I offered all of you a couple months ago, you should have bought it for what I was selling it for. You should have bought it. You'd have been in the money on all of it with the way silver has gone up. I'm going to show you a rare, rare gem. Item 1218, 524. 1218, 524. Here is, well, you may never have seen one except on this show. It is a cat's eye jade. A cat's eye jade. Let me get it out of this. Here, this is very, very rare. And if you like, look at that. That is a extremely strong cat's eye. Yeah, that is a crazy strong. Made in the USA too. This is part of my Made in the USA collection. Items that are found and mined from the United States. World class. Because there is another source for cat's eye jade, and it is Siberia. Well, obviously, there's not really anything coming out of that part of the world, but even nevertheless, here's what the difference is with the Siberian material. And no one knows enough to be, if you ever hear this, any gemstones presented to you, no one knows enough to be able to, as far as cutting and the stones, to be able to tie in everything together so it makes sense. Okay. Next time you see a Siberian cat's eye jade, look at the dome. Okay, you see how this dome, that dome is cut in a, for the dimensions, so it's almost a calibrated stone. That dome is a classic proportional dome for the size stone it is. On the cat's eyes, from Siberia, what they'll do is they will cut the stone so that right down the middle is almost a ridge. So they cut and graduate the sides up to where the very middle is a raised, it's not like super noticeable, but it's noticeable. It is a ridge. And what that does is it concentrates and accentuates a cat's eye that may be almost not even recognizable unless that was done. So the way they dome them up is, instead of, you see how even across the top that is, it will come up to a raise. It's not like raised, it's just cut from the sides to where the center is, I don't know the best word to use, it like a spine. And that ridge will concentrate the actinolite needles, creating the cat's eye. So when I show you on the back of this, you can see at a particular angle that they are actual inclusions in there. And to bring out those inclusions in the form of a cat's eye, you have to cut it in a dome that is parallel to the growth of the other inclusions. This thing's cut so well. It's cut so well. I got to use my other ones with the other. So anyway, there is, and I took at age of 13 special gem cutting lessons on optical stones. So there are methods that I have perfected over the years beyond that early lesson that concentrates and improves a cat's eye. And in this case, those methods weren't needed. It's a strong enough eye. And actually, let me show you. That's not really as good. If this was in the sunlight, look, if I cut that light off, you can see how much stronger it is. Or turn the kicker off for a minute and let me show just this light. So with just this one light, you can see that is a true cat's eye. Thank you, sir. Now, these stones aren't inexpensive. The good ones, of course, it's rare, especially when they're from Washington State, United States. The Siberians, much less expensive. I'm offering this one at an exceptional price that I hope someone recognizes the value of it for what it is, because I'm offering it for only $118. And to get a cat's eye from Washington State for that, you do your homework. Go look. You might find there'll be another one or something to be able to price check that against something else, and then you'll come back and hurry up and get this one. I'm going to show you item number 1240. Huh? Oh, okay, hold on. I'm glad you let me know. So let me get some stuff here real quick before we have to wrap it up. Okay, let me show you this. And I don't know. I have been watching the time because we started different. All right, look at this. Rhodolites. Beautiful rhodolites. This is the rhodolite. Rhodolite is supposed to look like, and that means a purple tint, not all that red that you see in these African, Tanzanian rhodolites that I tell you what, I'm not so sure how rhodolite they really are. Did you get the item number? Item 124024. This is some beautiful 4.70 carat, 124024? 40, yeah, 12. Let's see, 1244. Here I am, 424. Sorry about that, boss. Okay, here we go. I'm offering all three stones $68. That's huge. That's huge. Big discount. Big discount. Okay, hold on. Let me panicking. Okay, here. I'm going to do something fun. Item number 1206-424. 1206-424. These aren't coming out of the bag. Look at this. Okay, so I have Tanzanian stones, and 5 of them, 5.30 carat, and I will take wow, look at those. Look at the one on the far right. My goodness, $28 for all of them. $28 for all of them. Okay, now, hold on. Let's look at item 12. Let's see, what do we got? Is this, I'll show that next week. When I have, I know we had someone that really wanted a nice piece of lapis. Let me feature this. Item 116-9124. 116-9124. Take a look. This actually comes with a stand. It is that fine of a piece. And look at that. Look at that. That is the royal lapis that you want. And there'll be pyrite. There'll be fluorescence in this. This you can see it's completely natural. And let me show you something. You see how parallel Both sides are. These have not been sawed. Look at the little dendrites there. This, see that exact parallel width? That is because this forms and grows in seams. This is part of the entire seam. So this would have continued down. And it's pretty cool to see that you have the entire part of the lapis growing in that seam from being able to see the top and the bottom. This is exquisite quality, worthy of just displaying if you so desire. I really don't know how much you just say, okay, thank you. Is that what I offered it for? Oh, I was going to say more than that. Well, if I'm going to put it on sale, I got to make it less. $88. $88. And I tell you what, it's not going to be that low again. All right, give me just a few more minutes there, please, so I can. How much? 60 seconds? Oh, come on, boss. You didn't give me like a 10-minute warning beforehand or anything. I don't have a big clock up in front of me. Item number 120, 125, 3125. I think everybody must have been broke the week I showed some of these because some of the most unusual, unique specimens were passed up, and this is one of them. Look at this, Raven. Look at this. This is a very rare scepter. You see how the bottom of the crystal tapers and narrows and yet still has its perfect six-sided shape, right? So what happens is this would have been a crystal, and what happens, another crystal grows around it and stops before it continues all the way, leaving a narrow base. Scepters are very desirable. This is a rare crystal. You have lepidolite. You see this little pearlescent mica? That's lepidolite. Or polylithinite, trilithinite. You have muscovite here. So you have another type of mica. A perfect termination and a stunning specimen all the way around. You could definitely search it for anhydro bubbles, but look at this, look at this. Go try to find a aqua scepter. That would be a challenge. This is a large crystal, and go ahead and put the price up. All right, so what this was an amazing deal at $348 before. I'm going to offer it right now. I shouldn't, but I just need to move it. Let's make it $248. $248. One of the most outstanding rarities you'll ever see is an aqua scepter like that piece. So a true jewel. And as I'm hurrying here to get a last few items before you, I always like to try to what was that? Okay, I know I need to quit. So let me show you item 124 4625. 124 4625. And this is a collection that I've sold off a few of, and I don't know, I should hang on to them. Extremely rare because they're not faceted when they should have been. Look at this, octahedral Mogok Burma, which is Myanmar, where they just had the earthquake. Look at the clarity. Look at the clarity. That is facet grade Burma. I've been in Burma. I've crossed into Burma. I have been terrified in Burma. I was lucky to get out of Burma. And that was my Burma experience. Everything red was being sold as a ruby. It didn't matter. You have to have gem knowledge if you think you're going to do any business in Burma at all, because you can't say, oh, I'm sorry, that's not, you don't tell them that what they're telling you isn't what it is. You just accept it. You negotiate it for what you know it is. the price and you move on if you want to move on. Other than that, you do not create problems in a country you do not live in. Look at the size of this. That is facet grade, a beautiful, beautiful crystal. And all of these, look at that, are facet grade and wonderful crystal forms. And this was priced so inexpensively, I couldn't believe that I still have it. So anyway, I'm going to make it a opportunity, facet grade, and if not, I'll hang on to them because that's how hard they are to get. I'm offering those for the auspicious price of only $77. $77. And take advantage. Okay, so I'm announcing the next item is going to be the last item of the show. Thanks for the time, Lateef. And pardon? Oh, I appreciate that. I think. Item 124, 3225. I don't know if this is exactly the right item I wanted to pick for the last item, but it is a beauty. So is that. So is all of them. But this one is special. Look at this. And if you love quartz, then this is a lot going on with it. Look at this. So you have double terminations. Look at this. So meaning just like a Herkimer diamond, pointed at both ends. Multiple sidecar growth crystals, very high potential for there to be anhydro bubbles. This is where, look at the irises. Yeah, this is a floater crystal. In other words, again, remember, there's nowhere where this was attached to another formation or the wall. The irises are stunning. And then look at the beautiful mica crystals inserting themselves. Look at the additional irises. This piece, look at the irises in this. This is a exceptional look. And wow, this is one you can gaze into for a long, long time. And multiple double terminations on this and crystal form. Look at the size of it in my hand. And I have a very, very, very discounted price from the price that it should be. This is from the well-known area and appropriately named Diamantina, Brazil. Smoky quartz. Price on this, $78. Only $78. And unfortunately, we'll have to wrap it up on that one. And we'll have to start over with you next week. So let me get set up on the What Am I? I'll be back momentarily. I had a great team. Love working with these guys when I get, Asif started. So Asif is now working with Mike doing the show at the moment. So we're all intensely involved in gem shopping projects. Yay. Lateef's over there. So this part, instead of doing the question trivia, it's all of your favorite part. I'm doing the What Am I? Now, you might find it a little harder, but the reality is you have experience with every one of these at some point or another. And also, the point is to challenge you. So if you get one right, that's fine. If you get none, that's fine. You will learn from it because I will then afterwards tell you what's what. You'll have a better understanding. I'm going to give you a little more information maybe as we go along, little clues. I'm going to show you these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items, and then I'll talk to you again for a moment afterwards. So let's take a look at the What Am I? Starting with the left to the right as usual. Okay, so you have to not overthink it, but think about what I have featured in the past that is similar. or use other specimens you have, because remember, you'll have a couple few days to study on this. Now, the What Am I winners get a better prize. I've always given an upgrade for the winners of this, just to let you know. That should encourage you maybe to do some homework. Remember, you are free to use any resources you want to when figuring these out. It's not like the trivia questions where you can't go back and watch the show once you get to the trivia part. So let's go through these, and the very last one is going to be the bigger challenge. Okay, now looking at this one, you can see my cat hair and dust. It's a dust collector. All right, you can see the many different ways that that could be displayed. This is often, due to the way this forms, can produce, as you can see, pagoda formations. Okay, that's number one. Number two, this one, you can see I have sawed it from a larger piece, and you have this greenish yellow tint. You can see some type of crystal form to it, but don't let maybe interpreting 6 sides throw you off as to what it may be, because remember, it's 3-dimensional. So it could be a rounded type of crystal. This is a form of this gem that you don't normally come across. It is more often found as a cabochon than anything faceted, because it is basically never found in a completely transparent form. Next, here is a beautiful, and some of these items you're going to be able to purchase what you are figuring out. Now this one, it should be fairly easy from looking at the crystal and seeing what it looks like on this side and then on that side. These are mostly found as clusters with others. This next one, this is a particularly beautiful specimen for what it is. You have also another material down here, which would be extra credit if you can figure out what that is, along with the primary material. This next one, all of you would love to buy, and they're very hard to find a crystal in this type of gem. Most of the time, it is not found in a very well-defined crystalline form. And let's see, oftentimes right there you see black needle inclusions, and those inclusions are often mistaken for rutile, but they are not. I'm not going to give it away because I think that would give away what this is, but this is a seldom seen crystal of a gem that normally isn't found in that form. This is a beautiful color. It often, of course, will form crystals, not like this, but this color is desirable. And let me see without giving away. is the color blue in this material is primarily found in two places, Brazil or Madagascar. I know. I am. I'm just afraid maybe I made everything too hard. Uh, this, I'm not going to say anything because everybody should know what that is. Well, I shouldn't make it that way because if you don't know what it is, that doesn't mean you're dumb or not knowledgeable or anything. You just haven't come across it. So maybe I worded that wrong. Maybe I worded that wrong. This is the expensive variety of what it is. I know. Now, this last one, this is the treasure, and it is a well-defined crystal of a color that this material is found in, but it is not commonly found in this nice of a crystalline shape. Let's just put it that way. This will be a bonus if anybody gets that one. Not fully expecting anyone, but there's every chance and possibility that someone will. Okay, so I'll just turn those slowly back this way so you can see them again. And I think Latif is right. I probably gave away too many hints, but we'll see how everyone does. Okay. Now, I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Of course, there are more things I wanted to get to, and then I have left big apatite crystal. You know, I can't wait to see all of you again. It's pretty much simple as that. Of course, Gem Shopping is doing everything that we're going to possibly be able to do to work within the new tariff situation. So naturally, with our industry, a lot of our items are sourced outside the country. So we'll see how that works out. But I can tell you from my standpoint, there will be no changes in pricing. None of my items are going to be priced higher due to the tariffs because I already own everything I've been selling for the last 8 years. Simple as that. I don't need to go buy more stuff. These are pieces I just keep finding. And I love it. I love it. I love it. When I sit and open a box and there's another bunch of items where I open up a thuya wood box and that's what I found. That's what I found. How can she call those crumbs? I think she's like, got her thumb on the scale, so to speak, wink, wink. Yeah, crumbs. Some of those crumbs. But I love her. And I'm so appreciative that she's here by my side. And I am so appreciative that she got to say hello. Do you want to say goodbye to everybody? Or maybe another day? She said another day. But hey, I'll take what we got. And you got to see Asif with his pink tie. All is good. And we're going to continue to make sure that all of you get the best values you possibly can. And right here in this show, you can be assured of getting mind-blowing opportunities on unique minerals. Who would have ever thought that I had a yaramayevite, right? Who would have ever thought that I had hittite when I did? I often have these items, and when they come up in discussion, I don't mention that I have them because then I feel like I might be compelled to have to sell them. I only offer them for sale when my heart is able to release them so that someone else can take on that Mother Earth spiritual sense of energy that all the crystals and natural elements that we have to live with in our daily lives or we die, such as vitamins, but to have the natural component in your hand of some of the rarest of the rare or commonest of the common, like the pyrite and quartz piece. Two common minerals. Put them together in a crystalline form like that, and it feels just like a ball of energy. Quartz, piezoelectric, all those crystals, I promise you, I have my voltage meter. If I would have hooked it up, I bet that baby's generating. So, with that, and lots of love to all of you, I appreciate all of your support. Like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you next Monday. Do your homework on the What Am I's, and we'll have fun with it. Cheers.